Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be looking at the disappearance of Dannette and Jeannette Millbrook. And I'm at Wikipedia first reading about it. And it says Dannette Latonia Millbrook. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm probably chopping up her name. And Jeannette Latrice Millbrook are fraternal twins from Augusta, Georgia, who disappeared on March 18, 1990, when they were only 15 years old. It says that their surnames often misspelled, and Jeannette's middle name is often given as Latrice due to errors on police reports. The twins were last known to have been seen by a gas station clerk at a pump and shop gas station on the corner of 12th Street and Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard around 4:30 p.m. Yeah, this one's like a tearjerker. I'm really having a hard time with it because they're 15. Their case was closed in 1991 and was reopened in 2013. Sorry, my eyes are like watery and teary-eyed, so I keep having to stop to rub it off. On March 18, 1990, Dannette and Jeannette Millbrook walked to the local church's chicken restaurant for lunch. When they returned, they informed their mother, Louise, that a man in a van had followed them for part of their walk. Nothing further is known about this man. There's a van, there was a van with one, there was a van with some girls that went missing one time at a mall that was reported, or it was either a van or somebody else said a truck. And then there was the other van that couple girls that were supposed to go to the movie theater that might have got in. Then there was another van. Somebody had a van when they with the Springfield 3. It seems like the vans are just frightening. I can't remember if and then there's a picture of a girl that has her mouth taped shut in Florida or somewhere, and there's a man in the van, and I can't tell if it's the same girl or if it's two girls and a young man, or if it's the same girl, but these vans are just frightening. Anyway, later in the day, the twins walked to their godfather's house for the purpose of borrowing money to take a city bus to school the following week, as the teens and their family had recently moved to a new apartment further from their school. After receiving the $20 for bus fare and a little extra for snacks, the teen went to their cousin's house and asked her to walk home with them. The cousin's mother would not allow her to accompany the twins because it was going to be dark soon. I remember when I was young, living in black neighborhoods and walking to school. And we would walk for an hour and a half sometimes, and then we would stop and buy little cups of stuff to drink and stop at places on the way there. Little cups of Kool-Aid people would sell for us to have a drink on the way there and on the way back. And when I lived in the white neighborhoods, we didn't have to walk. But I guess I shouldn't mention this because that's not related, because they moved further, so they needed to take a city bus. But that just made me think of that, because I remember having to walk forever to school and home in a couple of places I lived. After visiting their cousin, because I was in a family of mixed races, after visiting their cousin, they made a stop at their older sister's home, and they stayed for about 15 minutes. They also requested that their older sister walk with them because they were afraid because of that van. But she declined due to recently giving birth. So they're trying to get people to walk with them. After their disappearance, family members considered it unusual that the twins had made multiple requests for company on the walk home that day. Next, they continued on to the local gas station where they bought chips, candy, and soda. The clerk, Gloria, was familiar with the twins. She did not recall anything out of the ordinary about their behavior. She is the last person to see Dannette and Jeannette. Jeannette was last seen wearing a blue pullover shirt over a white turtleneck with a beige shirt, white stockings, and white sneakers. At the time of her disappearance, she was 5'4" and 125 pounds. And Dannette was last seen wearing a white shirt with an image of Mickey Mouse, white jeans, and black shoes. At the time of her disappearance, she was 5'6" and 130 pounds. Dannette has been described as bow-legged. Both girls had pierced ears, shoulder-length hair styled, and jerry curls, and they both have a scar near their navels from a surgery shortly after birth. Dannette and Jeannette were enrolled as students at Lucy Laney High School. The twins were known to be good teens, and they weren't troublemakers. They didn't have a history of running away, and there appears to be no motive for their disappearance. The twins did not have a history of misbehaving outside of a single instance that occurred as a result of somebody bullying them at the bus stop. So, after the girls were discovered missing, the family was told to wait. See, I hate that. You got to wait 24 hours, but you know something's wrong, and that's crucial, the first 20 hours. So little is known about the initial investigation, as the original police file is lost. There is much debate as to why exactly the case was initially closed. The family reports that they were told the case was closed when the girls turned 17. What? Because they had reached an age at which they could no longer be legally forced to come home if found. The original investigator claims that he was told by a juvenile case officer that the girls had been found, which led to both the case being closed and the girls' removal from the National Registry of Missing Children. Mistakes in reports from the original investigation, such as the misspelling of the last name, the listing of Jeannette's middle name, and having remained unchanged in case files and still can be found on the Associates databases today, such as the Charlie Project, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. So they didn't reopen it till, despite the case being closed in 1991, the families continued to persistently contact the Sheriff's Department. So you got to know that you've got to do this. You've got to persistently contact the Sheriff's Department and other people to try to get cases reopened. Maybe that's why they've got so many unidentified people. I keep wondering how many people are not reported as missing because of things like this. The family was given different explanations about the case. Says something about the girls being removed from the home and placed into foster care where they were adopted. What? Further investigation revealed this was not true. A close relative did have children in foster care. That's why there was confusion. The calls ultimately led to the case being reopened in 2013. Look at all that time that went by. Look at all that time. In media releases, the sheriff was quoted saying, "We think a terrible injustice has been done for the last 20 years, which helped to fuel interest in the new investigation. The current investigating agency is Richmond County Sheriff's Department." Wow. And then he met to get the DNA samples, and as of 2019, it's unclear if the case is continuing to be investigating. So what? So there's producers of the podcast The Fall Line, which you can click on to go to that, to see and listen to that. They may have taken an active role in continuing the search for them and helped to raise the $10,000 reward. So if you've got information, there's a $10,000 reward. Or you can call and remain anonymous. But if you have information, you should try to get it out there. A meeting with the Sheriff's Department led the Millbrook family. If you have information about the original case where the case file was lost, you might want to get that information over to them again too, because, you know. A meeting with the Sheriff's Department led the family to believe the reward would be officially announced and matched by the Sheriff's Department, but the Sheriff's Department denies making such a commitment. Of course, concerned about the lack of publicity for the reward, the producers of the Fall Line and Unresolved podcast worked together to raise money for a billboard to advertise the reward fund. As of March 2018, a little over $2,500 was raised and plans were in motion to create the billboard. Skeletal remains of an unidentified black female were found in Aiken County on January 25, 1993, and were believed to be the result of a homicide occurring sometime between 1990 and 1992. The remains were found near Shaw. See, that's horrific. The remains were found near Shaw's Creek off Highway 191 in Aiken County, South Carolina. Oh, I didn't even think about South Carolina. This woman remains unidentified and has become known as one of the Aiken County Jane Does. The family strongly believes that the facial reconstructions of these remains could be Jeannette. When the remains were originally found, the family was told that it was not either of the twins. However, the family was not given a reason why. As of 2017, the coroner's office reports that they have plans to compare the DNA. Well, shouldn't they have done that by now? Joseph Patrick Washington was active in the girl's neighborhood, and some believe that he may be involved in the girl's disappearance. Washington was sentenced to 17 consecutive life sentences in 1995 for numerous criminal convictions associated with abductions and sexual assaults of 5 women, 3 of whom survived. He faced the death penalty in the murder of Marilyn Denise Kelly and was suspected, in the murder of Loretta Dukes, but died in 1999 before the trial started. The twins' mother is Mary Louise Sturgis. She has been very involved in trying to find her daughters. Sister to the twins, Shanta Sturgis, has also become a vocal advocate in the search for her sisters. And they persistently called the Sheriff's Department from Shanta, prompted the case to be reopened in 2013. She has been very critical of both the initial and current investigations. Dannette and Jeannette have 8 siblings. This caused some confusion after their disappearance, as their sister was often mistaken as one of the twins. And then it shows there's a list of podcasts that you can go to. Whoops. I haven't went to any of those, so I don't know what they're like, but that's very horrific. And then this one talks about it as well. Is that the same thing? I might have that open twice. Yes, I do. And this is the Charlie Project. And it shows photos of the girls. 15 years old. 15 years old. That's so sad. Well, and this talks about it as well. I think it says pretty much the same thing. They were last seen at the Pump and Shop gas station, March 18th, 1990. They left the apartment. It gives the streets, block of Clooney. They left their apartment. That way if people have any information, but I don't think they're going to remember from that long ago, but maybe if they saw some. Block of Cooney Circle off Olive Drive, en route to visit family friend in the vicinity. So it says right here, many accounts state the twins never made it to their friend's home, but authorities were able to determine that they did arrive there and they left at 4 p.m. They were last seen near the intersection of 12th Street and Martin Luther King Boulevard at approximately 4:30. They've never been heard from again. Wow, they were 9th graders. It's so sad that something would happen to 2 15-year-olds. Pictures of the other young girl. That's just horrific. And she's 5'4" and 125 pounds. And it talks about what they were wearing. I just can't. That's just so sad. And yes, that's just wrong that, here's some more photos. It's wrong that, I just, the whole fact that they had to wait 24 hours really bothers me. It really does. Because if somebody would have been looking for them right away and the word would have gotten out, then maybe, I don't know. There's so many. And then I looked in Georgia. I couldn't find anything in Florida or Tennessee, but there was an unidentified female, but it would have been years later. She was discovered in 1995, but she was still alive. And so surely that wouldn't have been her because she would have contacted her family, unless she couldn't for some reason. She was 15 to 30 years old, 5'7", 740 pounds. So I can't imagine that being her because I don't know. Unless somebody did something, I don't think there's any way that could have been her. Any way that could have been either one of them. I don't know who this is, but there's a young unidentified female that nobody's ever identified that was in Georgia. And who knows what happened? I don't know. And then there's this one, and she's unidentified, but this wasn't. She was alive in 2001 in Jefferson, Georgia, and died like days prior. But she was 15 to 23 years old, 5'1" to 5'6". I don't understand if she died days to week prior why they don't have her height. But I don't know, because her teeth had all those dental restorations and they were protruding out, so that couldn't have been her. Because it looked to me like they had beautiful teeth, but I don't know. So I couldn't really find anybody that matched their description, so I don't know. I just feel like, and here's another identified female, so if anybody knows who this is or knows who it might be, they should contact them. But it's just so many people are unidentified now. And I feel like with the problems with them not doing it because they had to wait 24 hours and the family having to constantly contact the police to get the case reopened, how many cases are there that are not even opened? You know, how many cases do we have of people that are missing with the cases not even open right now, that they can't get the cases open? Or people don't know of family members, or people who had family members that they thought they were runaways, or got reported as runaways instead of missing because of the miscommunication, or somebody wouldn't listen to them. And, you know, it just really makes you wonder. It really makes you wonder, and it really makes me sad. So, you know, what do you think? How do you feel about this? You know, it's so upsetting to me. Please feel free to leave comments. And I'm just a small YouTube channel. I do appreciate my viewers. If you go to the Doe Network, you could probably find the NamUs case number if they have it. You might can click here to get it. If you have information, though, you should I would contact a couple of different agencies with it, you know, just to make sure that the information gets there. And like I said, if you have information, the original case that you gave that might have gone missing out of that file, you should contact them and give them that information. But anyway, I thank you so much for tuning into my channel. Please don't forget to stop to pray for the families of these young girls and the girls. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great day. Bye-bye.